Hello and welcome to the tutorial. So in this tutorial I'm going to be walking through the setup for VS Code using the Go programming language, sometimes called Golang, on a Windows-based computer. My name is Matt Cervantes, and the primary kind of group of people I'm targeting with this tutorial are those who will be taking my computer science CSEI 20 class at Butte College. However, I'm putting this on YouTube, so really anybody who is interested in just kind of getting their machine set up to use VS Code and Golang could probably benefit from this. So if you're in that group, this is fine for you as well. But with that said, I do want to point out there are a few disclaimers about this. So I'm going to say this right now. This is a very basic install and setup guide. And what I mean by that is that it's really intended for people who are interested in just kind of getting themselves acquainted with the Golang language, and not for a professional. So this will work just fine as long as you are not going to use any external dependencies, which I'm not planning to use at all in my class. And this is actually kind of weird for people who professionally use Go. This is not at all how a professional Golang developer would do it. They absolutely would use external dependencies. That's actually probably one of the major things that people like about this language. And that's not the focal point of the class. So this setup that I'm doing is actually kind of assuming that we're never going to do an external dependency. And when you make that assumption, there are certain kinds of things that we can do, and it actually makes the setup a lot faster, but it's limited. So I just wanted to point that out to everybody that this is going to be a little bit more limiting. So if you're fine with that and you just want to learn Go, this will work just fine. Okay, so with those disclaimers out of the way, let's talk a little bit about the agenda for this video. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to download Go. All right, I'm going to show you how to do that. Then we're going to install Go on this computer. And then we're going to do a few things just to confirm that it was downloaded and configured correctly, and we'll just show you how you can review the config. Then we're going to download VS Code, which is a text editor by Microsoft. It's a really nice little text editor, and so if you're watching this video, it's in the title. Hopefully that's the reason why you're here, is you want to use that text editor. And then we're going to install VS Code on the computer, and then I'm going to configure VS Code to support Go, the Go programming language. And so that'll kind of be the last bit, is just getting it all set up, and then I'll write a really super basic program in VS Code, and you can watch it run, and then this video will be over with. Okay, so let's start off with the very first thing, which was to get Go. So you're going to want to open up a web browser, and I'm going to do this all from scratch. So there's nothing, Go is not on this computer. I do already have VS Code set up, but I don't have Go set up at all, so and I'll re-download it. It doesn't matter. So when you get in here, you're going to want to type Golang. You can see I already did this, right? So Golang's right there. So Golang is probably the easiest way to do this. You just type that into a search engine, and it's going to be the first thing that pops up. Click on that, right? Take you to their official page, which should be golang.org, right? And you're going to say, yep, I want to download Go. For this video, obviously I'm going to be doing this for Windows, a Windows-based operating system, so this is the one that I'm going to download and install. If I was running a Mac or a Linux distro, I have those other options available. And the installation of this is actually pretty trivial, so I don't expect you're going to run any trouble here, but this is what I'm doing for this video. All right, there it goes. It's downloading. Excuse me. All right, it's done downloading. I'm going to push the button to install. The installer starts up. Welcome to Go. Yep, that's the one I want. You click next. I accept the terms. Yep. And so this is the first thing I wanted to point out here. So the default location is going to this is where it's going to actually install Go as the actual Go binaries to run Go. And I recommend you just keep this exactly where it is. There's no reason to change this unless you really, for some reason, want it to go somewhere else. I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and just leave that as is. All right, and then I'm going to click install. Okay, so now it's done installing. That's great. So that was pretty straightforward. You downloaded it, you ran the installer, you hit finish, And now you should have Go on your computer. So the easiest way to confirm that that worked successfully was obviously if the installer finished successfully, that helps. But another thing you can do is go over here and open up PowerShell. So all I did was I opened up, if I'm on a Windows-based machine, I went and I hit the window key, I started typing PowerShell, and I just typed power, and then PowerShell popped up. Okay, and this is just a command line terminal. If you're not familiar with it, that's okay. Just follow along for now. This is, if you're going to be in my class, you're definitely going to know this pretty good by the end of the class. And so once you're here, in fact, here's what we can do. We can do a little zoom in action here and make this a little easier to see, hopefully. There, we'll close that out of the way. All right, so once you're here, you can easily confirm whether Go worked or not by just doing Go and then version, right? And it'll run for a second, and as long as something like this pops up on your screen, you're good to go. If something else happens, like it says something like Go is an unrecognized command, that means something bad happened, and you're definitely going to want to reinstall it or start doing some Googling to figure out what the problem might have been. But that's pretty much the easy way to go about it. The other thing that you're going to want to do, and this is, I'm going to say to do this, it's a little tongue-in-cheek because you don't really need to know how to do this, but this is a very typical thing that people do when they install Go, is they run another command called go env, which is the environment variables. And if you do that, this is going to show up, and oh boy, that got all weird. All right, and so basically what this is showing you is there's a whole bunch of configuration settings that happened when it installed Go. And probably the most notable things that happened are there's two things that you want to look at, and there's one that's called your Go root, and that's right here, right? And this is where whenever we were installing it, it said where do you want to install this, and see, notice how that's the same place. It's a C drive in a folder called Go. So that's what that is. That you basically, it set the place where the Go binaries are going to live. The other one that you're going to sometimes need to know about, and it's probably a good thing to know, is this thing called the Go path. All right, and in the default location for this on a Windows-based machine is to put it into the same main drive that you're on. C drive is pretty typical. In the users folder, in the name of your profile. So for me on this computer, my profile name is Cervantes MA, and then it creates a folder called Go, and that's the main. That's going to be the Go path. Now, when Go kind of first launched from Google and it started kind of being popular amongst people when it was first being used. This was an extremely important thing to understand and utilize, the Go path. That has kind of is no longer the case. There actually is a whole other paradigm for dealing with this stuff now, and I suspect that the idea of a Go path may very well become deprecated in the future. But at least for now, it's still there. It's a worthwhile thing for you to know, and if you ever want to actually build something professional with Go, you're going to need to know what the Go path is, or you're going to need to learn about their modules system. And so either way, it's a good thing to know. So there it is. We are probably not going to need to know it, but I wanted to point that out. So we know that Go got installed correctly because I could see that it has the version. I can do the environment variables, so we're good. So I'm going to clear that out. I'm just going to minimize that. All right, so now that we have Go installed, the next thing for us is going to be installing VS Code. Now I already said that I've already installed it on this computer, but I'm going to go ahead and do it again. The way you do that is just go in here and you can type VS space code. Right? And it's going to likely be the very first thing that pops up. And so Visual Studio Code, code editing redefined. Isn't that wonderful? All right, so you click on that. All right. And so the browser is pretty smart. It'll automatically detect which operating system you're running on. And so I'm running on a Windows machine, so it's giving me this nice big button that says download for Windows. You're probably going to want the last stable build. So just click on that. And there it is. It starts to install. Or starts to download rather. Okay, now that it's downloaded, I'm just going to launch it. And this little dialog is going to pop up, and I'm going to accept. Click next. And now, so here's a little spot I do want to kind of draw attention to this thing that pops up. So this is giving you some options for how you want to set up VS Code on your computer. I'm going to recommend that you pretty much check every single one of these boxes as they already are. It's detecting my current setup, so that's why it's doing this. This is the main reason why I wanted to walk through this for you, is that I would recommend doing all four of these, and I'm going to show you why here in a second. But if you also want to create a desktop icon, you can. I don't personally use this at all, but if you want to have it sitting there on your desktop, you can do that too. But you definitely want it in the path, and you definitely want it. I think you definitely want these other two. And registering code as an editor for support file types is also a nice thing to do. Right. So I'm going to click next. It's just going to confirm that those are all the things I want. I'm going to click install, and we'll wait just a moment. Alright, so it finished installing, so now we get this lovely screen saying it was complete and everything's great. You'll click finish. Alright, and so once you do that, you will have the ability to run VS Code. I recommend just putting it down here in the bottom bar like I have, or you can always just run it by opening, again, hitting the window key, typing code usually, and there it is. It comes up as the top item. Now the main reason I wanted you to check those boxes before, the ones that were the open it with the context editor and all that, is because I find that this is a very nice, easy way to get yourself running on VS Code. And so the reason why I say that is because you're going to want to be able to put the work that you're doing into separate folders for organizing your code. This is just a good practice to get in. And so when you do this, I recommend, so let's say I want to have a folder right here. I'll make a new folder, and I'm going to call it, I don't know, my program. All right? Okay, so this is my program that I'm going to make. Well, the nice thing is that once you make the folder like this, all that is required after that, here I'm going to put it right on the sun, is you can just right click on it, and if you clicked all those boxes when you installed VS Code, then you get this lovely option here that says open with code. And that's a really neat little thing, because you'll see in a second here, if I do it that way, it will open up this, right? And over here on the left hand side, you'll notice, in fact I wonder if I can drag this out a little here. Yeah, this is actually going to show all of the files in that folder. So it already has opened the folder. This is representing my folder. Look how it says my program. That's the same thing that I named that folder. I called it my program. So there's nothing in the folder right now, right? Because I just created it, right? Same thing here. There's nothing here. But if I +1 here, and let's say I'm going to make a new file called main.go, right? Well, I can do that. And now if I come in here, look what's there, main.go. All right, so this is nice. If you don't check those boxes and then you try to open up the folder, it won't give you this option, this nice option to just open with code. Instead, you'll have to open up Visual Studio Code, and then you'll have to open up the program manually. Usually it's by doing this, file, open folder, and then you can pick the folder you want to open, and then it'll open it up correctly. And this gets a lot of people who are using VS Code for the first time, so that's why I highly recommend to do it the way I just specified. Now, you'll notice something kind of neat here. The second that I tried to create a file with the .go extension, right, and this is kind of the tip-off, VS Code knows, oh, that's a special programming language that uses that extension. It's automatically saying, hey, I'd like for you want to go ahead and just install that extension, and that is absolutely what I'm going to do. But in case that doesn't happen, or you don't want to do it that way, you can always click install there, but I'm going to do it a different way. The other option you can do is you can come over here, and this is a little panel for extensions in Visual Studio Code. And this will let you actually install extensions for any number of things. I already have extensions in here for C++ and C# and Python, a whole bunch of stuff. But I don't have Go. So all you have to do is type Go into here, right? And the very first thing that's going to pop up is this one from Microsoft. So you click on this. This is how you know you're in the right spot. It'll say Go team at Google, right? It's like the official Go extension for Visual Studio Code. Yeah, I don't know that there's any other one that even comes close. So then you're just going to click the install button here and wait a few seconds, and it will install that extension for you. Great. Okay, so the extension has been installed. You know that because now this little button went from install to uninstall. So now you can actually get rid of the extension by clicking there, but you should be all set. Okay, so now this is something that you're going to run into once you have set up Go and Visual Studio Code. The second you install that extension, you're going to be getting a ton of these, just like a ton of these little pop-ups saying you want to install this command and this command and this command and this command. I'm going to shortcut this a little bit, and I'm going to try to do something, and this is unrehearsed, so let's bear with me. Let's see if this is going to work. I'm going to get out of that mode. I'm going to go back to just being able to see my files here. I'm going to recommend that you install and use the Go language language server. Basically, they have a way to get many of the features that you can use in Visual Studio Code in your editor without you having to install a million little Go extensions. And I'm not going to get into all the details. Go is kind of a unique language in that it's basically its own package management system, as far as I can tell, that allows you to just download all kinds of extensions built into the language itself rather than the Visual Studio. And it can actually be a little confusing and off-putting, especially if you've never programmed before. So I'm just going to try to shortchange that right now. So if you're in VS Code and you've got this far, I'm going to recommend the very first thing you go and do is you hit on your keyboard, hit Control-Shift-P, and that will open up this thing called the command palette. Right? Now the command palette is basically a feature in Visual Studio Code that allows you to do a bunch of stuff in the editor. And the thing that we're going to do is I'm going to have you guys install the language server for Go from here. And the way you do that is you just type go : install, I believe is how it is. Here it is. If you just type that much, you'll see that they pop up. You want go install update tools, right? So click on that, and this is going to let you pick which ones you want to update. And the main one that you are going to want is down here at the very bottom, or near the bottom, I think. It is Go, oh shoot, is it not there? Go PLS? Well, I'll be darned. So I think we're gonna have to do this one other way. I wasn't sure about this, so we're gonna do one other thing. So I'm gonna do that again, Control-Shift-P. All right, and this time I'm actually gonna go into Preferences. I think I have to do this first. So Preferences, and then I'm gonna say Configure, right? And I'm gonna just start to type Configure, and it's gonna fill in the rest. Configure language specific settings. All right, so there we go. And if you click on that, it's going to give you a bunch of different languages that you can choose from. Obviously the one that we're picking is Go, so I'm going to go down here to Go. I'm going to go right, and okay, and then this opens up. All right, so this is cool. So this is basically a spot where you can specifically tell your copy of Visual Studio Code settings that are specific to the Go programming language, and that's why you had to pick the language before it opened it up, right? And there's a very specific setting that you're going to want to set. So here's what you're going to want to do in here. You go right up here to let's just put it right here above this Go section. All right, you're going to add a new line, and then right here you're going to type in quotes, Go dot use language server, and look, it'll fill in the rest for you. Use language server. And instead of false, which is what it wants to default to, say you're going to want to say true here. So true. Okay. And now I'm going to save. And as soon as I save, bang, look what happens. So as soon as I hit save, that's when this command is not available. Run go get to install. So this is basically going to say I'm going to go install what you need to get this. So I'm like, all right, cool, install. And then if you open this up, you can see it kind of do its magic. So it's installing the language server for me right now. Okay, it finally finished. That took a little longer than I expected, but it finally installed all of the things, and you see this little message says succeeded, which is great. And look, it even gives you a fun little message, you are ready to go, with a happy face. All right, so that means we can get out of these settings now. That's good. And now we can go into our program. So you saw me earlier, I created a file called main.go, right? and this is going to be where I'm going to write my program. So I'm basically just going to write a very simplistic program using VS Code so that we can actually see this thing work in action. I'm going to turn this back to the terminal, which is actually just PowerShell again. Right, and we're going to watch this happen. So I'm going to write this. This is not a tutorial on how to write Go. You can do that on your own. But so I'm going to just not explain this at all and just do it. And then now the important things to understand here is that I'm doing you're seeing some IntelliSense FMT dot. And look what happens. All of this magical stuff just shows up for you, right? And this is really the power of VS Code, or really just like a development text editor, is that it allows you to kind of utilize functionality by using what is commonly referred to as IntelliSense. It knows that this is an object called FMT, and it knows that it has or it's a package rather in Go, and it knows that it has all these features and functionalities associated with it, and I can just hit dot and it'll show me what they all are, and then I can even start to type what I think I want. Oh, print line, and look, it's giving me all, there it is, it knows that's the one, so I can just click on that, and now I can just type hello Go, hello from Go. How about that? I'll hit save, right? And then I'm going to do this really quickly. So I'm already in the folder I need to be in. I'm just going to type go run main.go, and it'll run it. And there's hello from Go. So that's pretty much all you needed to do. As you can tell, most of that was just installing stuff, and then you should be all set. The real trick there is just getting it set up with the language server. All right, well, hopefully this was helpful to people, and I'm sure I'll get questions, but if nothing else, this would hopefully get you rocking and rolling and going. All right, thank you very much.